Hi guys, I see my level screen, but I see she's on mute as well.
Thanks, Brisani. I have just read the whole chapter on mute.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I think
Okay.
you might want to repeat that chapter.
Taking it from the top, Joshua 14. the, the remaining tribes of Israel received land in Canaan as allotted by Eleazar the priest, Joshua, son of Nun, and the tribal leaders. These 9.5 tribes received their grant of land by means of sacred laws, in accordance with the Lord's command through Moses. Moses had already given a grant of land to the 2.5 tribes on the east side of the Jordan River, but he had given the Levites no allotment. The descendants of Joseph had become two separate tribes, Manasseh and Ephraim, and the Levites were given no land at all, only towns to live in, with surrounding pasture lands for their livestock and all their possessions. So the land was distributed in strict accordance with the Lord's command to Moses. A delegation from the tribe of Judah, led by Caleb, son of Jephunneh the Kenizzite, came to Joshua at Gilgal. Caleb said to Joshua, "Remember what the Lord said to Moses, the man of God, about, about you and me when we were at Kadesh Barnea. I was 40 years old when Moses, the servant of the Lord, sent me from Kadesh Barnea to explore the land of Canaan. I returned and gave an honest report, but the brothers who went with me frightened the people from entering the promised land. For my part, I wholeheartedly followed the Lord my God. So that day Moses solemnly promised me, the land of Canaan on which you were just walking will be your grant of land and that of your descendants forever, because you wholeheartedly followed the Lord my God. Now, as you can see, the Lord has kept me alive and well, as he promised all those 45 years since Moses made this promise. Even while Israel wandered in the wilderness. Today I am 85 years old. I am as strong now as I was when Moses sent me on that journey, and I can still travel and fight as well as I could then. So, give me the hill country that the Lord promised me. You will remember that as scouts we found the descendants of Anak living there in great walled towns. But if the Lord is with me, I will drive them out of the land, just as the Lord said. So Joshua blessed Caleb, son of Jephunneh, Hebron, and gave Hebron to him as his portion of land. Hebron still belongs to the descendants of Caleb, son of Jephunneh, and I mean, Hebron still belongs to the descendants of Caleb, son of Jephunneh the Kenizzite, because he wholeheartedly followed the Lord, the God of Israel. Previously, Hebron had been called Kiriath Arba. It had been named after Arba, a great hero of the descendants of Anak. The land had rest from war. The allotment of the clans of the tribe of Judah reached southward to the border of Edom, as far south as the wilderness of Sin. The southern boundary began at the south bay of the Dead Sea, ran south of Scorpion Pass into the wilderness of Zin, and went south to Kadesh Barnea to Hezron. Then it went up to the Adar, where it turned toward Karka. From there it passed to Aswan until it finally reached the Brook of Egypt, which it followed to the Mediterranean Sea. This was their southern boundary. The eastern boundary extended along the Dead Sea to the mouth of the Jordan River. The northern boundary began at the bay where the Jordan River empties into the Dead Sea, went from there to Beth Hogla, then proceeded north of Beth Araba to the stone of Bohan. Bohan was Reuben's son. From that point it went through the valley of Achor to Debir, turning north toward Gilgal, which is across from the slopes of Adumim on the south side of the valley. From there the boundary extended to the springs of En Shemesh and onto En Rogel. The boundary then passed through the valley of Ben Honan along the southern slopes of the Jebusites, where the city of Jerusalem is located. Then it went west to the top of the mountain above the valley of Honim, and on up to the northern end of the valley of Rephaim. From there the boundary extended from the top of the mountain to the springs at the waters of Nephtoah, and from there to the towns of Mount Ephron. Then it turned toward Baalah, that is Kiriath Jearim. The boundary circled west of Baalah to Mount Seir, passed along to the town of Kesalon on the northern slopes of Mount Jearim, and went down to Beth Shemesh and on to Timnah. The boundary then proceeded to the slope of hill the hill north of Ekron, where it turned toward Shikeron and Mount Bala. It passed Jabneel and ended at the Mediterranean Sea. The western boundary was the shoreline of the Mediterranean Sea. These are the boundaries of the clans of the tribe of Judah. The Lord commanded Joshua to give some of Judah's territory to Caleb, son of Jephunneh. So Caleb was given the town of Kiriath Arba, that is Hebron, which had been named after Anak's ancestor. Caleb drove out the three groups of Anakites, the descendants of Sheshai, Ahiman, and Talmai, the sons of Anak. From there he went to fight against the people living in the town of Debir, formerly called Kiriath Sefer. Caleb said, I will give my daughter Aksa in marriage to the one who attacks and captures Kiriath Sefer. Othniel, the son of Caleb's brother Kenaz, was the one who conquered it, so Aksa became Othniel's wife. When Aksa married Othniel, she urged him to ask her father for a field. As she got down off her donkey, Caleb asked her, What's the matter? She said, Give me another gift. You have already given me land in the Negev. Now please give me springs of water too. So Caleb gave her the upper and lower springs. This was the homeland allocated to the clans of the tribe of Judah. The towns of Judah situated along the borders of Edom in the extreme south of Kabzeel, Eder, Jagur, Hina, Dimona, Adada, Kedesh, Hazor, Ithnan, Ziph, Telem, Bealoth, Hazor Hadatar, Kiriath Hezron, that is Hazor, Amam, Shema, Molada, Hazor, Geda, Heshmam, Beth Pelet, Hazar-Shual, Beersheba, Beziothia, Bala, Lim, Ezen, Eltolad, Kesil, Homer, Ziklag, Madmana, Sansana, Lebaoth, Shilhim, Ain, and Rimmon. 29 towns with their surrounding villages. The following towns situated on the western foothills were also given to Judah: Eshtaol, Zorah, Ashna, Zanoah, En-Ganim, Tapua, Enam, Jamul, Adullam, Sokoth, Azekah, Sharaim, Adi, Thaim, Gedera, Gederothaim, and Gederothaim. 14 towns with their surrounding villages. Also included were Zenan, Hadasha, Migdalgad, Delian, Mizpeh, Joktheel, Lachish, Bozkath, Eglon, Kaboth, Lamam, Kitlish, Gederoth, Beth Dagon, Nama, and Makeda, 16 towns with their surrounding villages. Besides these, there were also Libnah, Ether, Ashan, Ifta, Ashna, Nezib, Keilah, Aksib, and Meresha, 9 towns with their surrounding villages. The territory of the tribes of Judah also included Ekron and its surrounding settlements and villages. From Ekron, the boundary extended west and included the town of Ashdod and their surrounding villages. It also included Ashdod with its surrounding settlements and villages, and Gaza with its settlements and villages, as far as the Brook of Egypt and along the coast of the Mediterranean Sea. Judah also received the following towns in the foothill country: Shamir, Jatir, Sokoth, Dena, Kiriath Sana, that is Debir, Anab, Eshtemoh, Anim, Goshen, Holon, and Gilo, 11 towns with their surrounding villages. Also included were the towns of Arab, Duma, Eshan, Janim, Beth Tapua, Athakah, Humta, Kiriath Arba, that is Hebron, and Zior, 9 towns with their surrounding villages. Besides these, they were Maon, Carmel, Ziph, Juttah, Jezreel, Jokdeam, Zanoah, Kain, Gibeah, and Timnah, 10 towns with their surrounding villages. In addition, they were Halhu, Beth Zuar, Giddo, Marath, Beth Anoth, and Eltekon, 6 towns with their surrounding villages. There were also Kiriath Baal, that is Kiriath Jearim, and Rabbah, 2 towns with their surrounding villages. In the wilderness, there were towns of Beth Arabah, Midin, Sekaka, Nibshan, the city of Salt, and Engedi, 6 towns with their surrounding villages. But but the tribe of Judah could not drive out the Jebusites who lived in the city of Jerusalem. So the Jebusites lived there among the people of Judah to this day. The allotment of the descendants of Joseph extended from the Jordan River near Jericho, east of the springs of Jericho, through the wilderness and into the hill country of Bethel. From Bethel, that is Luz, it ran over to Ataroth in the territory of the Archites. Then it descended westward to the territory of the Japhletites as far as Lower Beth-horon, then to Giza and over to the Mediterranean Sea. This was the homeland allocated to the families of Joseph's sons Manasseh and Ephraim. The following territory was given to the clans of the tribe of Ephraim. The boundary of their homeland began at Ataroth Ada in the east. From there it ran to the upper Beth Horon, then on to the Mediterranean Sea. From Mikmethath on the north, the boundary curved eastward past Taanath, Shiloh to the east of Genoa. From Genoa, it turned southward at to Ataroth and Nara, touched Jericho, and ended at the Jordan River. From Tapua, the boundary extended westward, following the Kana ravine to the Mediterranean Sea. This is the homeland. This is the homeland allocated to the clans of the tribe of Ephraim. In addition, some towns with their surrounding villages in the territory allocated to the half-tribe of Manasseh were set aside for the tribe of Ephraim. They did not drive the Canaanites out of Giza. However, so the so the people of Giza live as slaves among the people of Ephraim to this day. The next allotment of land was given to the half-tribe of Manasseh, the descendants of Jacob's older son. Machir, the firstborn son of Manasseh, was the father of Gilead. Because his descendants were experienced soldiers, the regions of Gilead and Bashan on the east side of the Jordan had already been given to them. So the allotment on the west side of the Jordan was for the remaining families within the clans of the tribe of Manasseh: Abiezer, Helek, Asriel, Shechem, Hepher, and Shemida. These clans represent the male descendants of Manasseh, son of Joseph. However, Zelophehad, a descendant of Hepher, son of Gilead, son of Machir, son of Manasseh, had no sons. He had only daughters, whose names were Mahlah, Noah, Hoglah, Milcah, and Tirzah. These women came to Eleazar the priest, Joshua son of Nun, and the Israelite leaders and said, "The Lord commanded Moses to give us a grant of land along with the men of our tribe." So Joshua gave them a grant of land along with their uncles, as the Lord had commanded. As a result, Manasseh's total allocation came to 10 parcels of land, in addition to the land of Gilgal, in addition to the land of Gilead and Bashan across the Jordan River. Because the female descendants of Manasseh received a grant of land along with the male descendants, the land of Gilead was given to the rest of the male descendants of Manasseh. The boundary of the tribe of Manasseh extended from the border of Asher to Mikmethath near Shechem. Then the boundary went south from Mikmethath to the settlement near the spring of Tapua. The land surrounding Tapua belonged to Manasseh, but the towns of Tapua itself, but the town of Tapua itself, on the border of Manasseh's territory, belonged to the tribe of Ephraim. From the springs of Tapua, the boundary of Manasseh followed the Kana ravine to the Mediterranean Sea. Several towns south of the ravine were inside Manasseh's territory, but they actually belonged to the tribe of Ephraim. In general, however, the land south of the ravine belonged to Ephraim, and the land north of the ravine belonged to Manasseh. Manasseh's border ran along the northern side of the ravine and ended in the Mediterranean Sea. North of Manasseh was the territory of Asher, and to the east was the territory of Issachar. The following towns within the territory of Issachar and Asher, however, were given to Manasseh: Beth-shan, Ibleam, Dor, that is Naphoth Dor, Endor, Tanakh, and Megiddo, each with their surrounding settlements. But the descendants of Manasseh were unable to occupy these towns because the Canaanites were determined to stay in that region. Later, however, when the Israelites became strong enough, they forced the Canaanites to work as slaves, but they did not drive them out of the land. The descendants of Joseph came to Joshua and asked, "Why have you given us only one portion of land as our homeland when the Lord has blessed us with so many people?" Joshua replied, "If there are so many of you, and if the hill country of Ephraim is not large enough for you, clear out land for yourselves in the forest where the Perizzites and the Rephaites live." The descendants of Joseph responded, "It's true that the hill country is not large enough for us, but all the Canaanites in the lowlands have iron chariots, both those in Bethshan and its surrounding settlements, and those in the valley of Jezreel. They are too strong for us." Then Joshua said to the tribes of Ephraim and Manasseh, the descendants of Joseph, "Since you are so large and strong, you will be given more than one portion. The forests of the hill country will be yours as well. Clear as much of the land as you wish. Take possession of the farthest corners, and you will drive out the Canaanites from the valleys too, even though they are strong and have iron chariots." Now the land was now that the land was under Israelite control, the entire community of Israel gathered in Shiloh and set up the tabernacle. But there remained 7 tribes that had not been allotted their grants of land. Then Joshua asked them, "How long are you going to wait before taking possession of the remaining land the Lord, the God of your ancestors, has given you? Select 3 men from each tribe, and I will send them out to explore the land and map it out. They will then return to me with a written report of their proposed divisions of their new homeland. Let them divide the land into 7 sections, excluding Judah's territory on the south and Joseph's territory in the north. And when you record the 7 divisions of the land, mm, and when you record the 7 divisions of the land and bring them to me, I will cast sacred lots in the presence of the Lord our God to assign land to each tribe. The Levites, however, will not receive any allotment of land. Their role as priests of the Lord is their allotment. And the tribes of Gad, Reuben, and the half tribe of Manasseh will not receive any more land, for they have already received their grant of land, which Moses, the servant of the Lord, gave them on the east side of the Jordan River. As the men started on their way to map out the land, Joshua commanded them, "Go and explore the land and write a description of it. Then return to me, and and I will assign the land to the tribes by casting sacred lots here in the presence of the Lord at Shiloh. The, the men did as they were told and mapped the entire territory into seven sections, listing the towns in each section. They made a written report and then returned to Joshua in the camp at Shiloh. And there at Shiloh, Joshua cast sacred lots in the presence of the Lord to determine which tribe should have each section. The first allotment of land went to the clans of the tribe of Benjamin. It lay between the territory assigned to the tribes of Judah and Joseph. The northern boundary of Benjamin's land began at the Jordan River, went north of the slopes of Jericho, then west through the hill country and the wilderness of Beth Aven. From there, the boundary went south to Luz, that is Bethel, and proceeded down to Ataroth Ada on the hill that lies south of Lower Beth Horon. The boundary then made a turn and swung south along the western edge of the hill facing Beth Horon, ending at the village of Kiriath Baal, that is Jearim, a town belonging to the tribe of Judah. This was the western boundary. The southern boundary began at the outskirts of Kiriath Jearim. From that western point, it ran to the spring at the waters of Nephtoah and down to the base of the mountain beside the valley of Ben Hinnom at the northern end of the valley of Rephaim. From there it went down the valley of Hinnom, crossing south crossing south of the slope where the Jebusites lived, and continued down to Enrogel. From Enrogel, the boundary proceeded in a northerly direction and came to En-Shemesh and on to Geliloth, which is across from the slopes of Adumim. Then it went down to the stone of Bohan. Bohan was the son. Bohan was Reuben's son. From there it passed along the north side of the slope overlooking the Jordan River. The border then went down to the valley. Um, it went down to the valley, ran past the north slope of Beth Hogla, and ended at the north bay of the Dead Sea, which is the southern end of the Jordan River. This was the southern border. The eastern border was the Jordan River. These are the boundaries of the homeland allocated to the clans of the tribe of Benjamin. These were the towns given to the clans of the tribe of Benjamin: Jericho, Beth Hogla, Amek Keziz, Beth Araba, Zemaraim, Bethel, Avim, Para, Ophrah, Kephar, Ammoni, Ophni, and Geba, 12 towns with their surrounding villages. Also Gibeon, Ramah, Beeroth, Mizpah, Kephirath, Moza, Rechem, Irpeel, Tarala, Zela, Haelef, the Jebusite town, that is Jerusalem, Gibeah, and Kiriath Jearim, 14 towns with their surrounding villages. This was the homeland allocated to the clans of the tribe of Benjamin.
Amen.
Should I continue?
Well, if you're happy to, but I am also available.
Okay, you can take over.
Cool. So Joshua 19.
Yes.
The second allotment of the land went to the clans of the tribe of Simeon. Their homeland was surrounded by Judea's territory. Simeon's homeland included Beersheba, Sheba, Molada, Hazashual, Bala, Ezen, El Toled, Beluth, Omar, Ziklag, Beth Makboth, Hazasusa, Beth Laboth, and Sharuheth, 13 towns with their surrounding villages. It also included Ain, Rimon, Ether, and Ashan, 4 towns with their villages, including the surrounding villages as far as Balabia, known as Ramah of the Negev. This was the homeland allocated to the clans of the tribe of Simeon. Their allocation of the land came from the part of what had been given to Judah because Judah's territory was too large for them. So the tribe of Simeon received an allocation within the territory of Judah. The land given to Zebulun. The third allotment of the land went to the clans of the tribe of Zebulun. The boundary of Zebulun's homeland started at Sarid. From there, it went west, going past Marhala, touching Dabesheth, and proceeding to the brook east of Jokneam. In the other direction, the boundary went east from Sarid to the border of Kisloth Tabor, and from there to Dabereth and up to Japhia. Then it continued east to Gath-Hepher, Ithkezin, and Rimmon, and turned toward near the northern boundary of Zebulun, past Anathon, and ended at the valley of Iftael. The towns in these areas included Ketah, Nehalal, Shimron, Idla, and Bethlehem, 12 towns with their surrounding villages. The homeland allocated to the clans of Zebulun included these towns and their surrounding villages. The fourth allotment of land went to the clans of the tribe of Issachar. Its boundaries included the towns Jezreel, Kesuluth, Shunem, Ephraim, Shion, Anahareth, Rabith, Kishon, Ebes, Remeth, and Ganim, and Hada, and Beth Parzas. The boundary also touched Tabor, Shah, Asuma, and Beth Shemesh, ending at the Jordan River, 16 towns with their surrounding villages. The homeland allocated to the clans of the tribe of Issachar included these towns and their surrounding villages. The fifth allotment went to the clan of the tribe of Asher. Its boundaries included these towns: Elkath, Ali, Betan, Aksheph, Alamelech, Ahmad, and Mishal. The boundary on the west touched Carmel and Shihor Libnath. Then it turned east toward Beth Dagon and ran as far as Zebulun in the valley of Iftael, going north to Beth Emel and Neiel. It then continued north to Kabul, Abdon, Rehob, Hammon, Kana, and as far as Greater Sidon. Then the boundary turned toward Ramah and the fortress of Tyre, where it turned toward Osa and came to the Mediterranean Sea. The territory included Mehebel, Akzib, Umah, Apek, and Rehob, 20 towns with their surrounding villages. The homeland allocated to the clans of the tribe of Asher included these towns and their surrounding villages. The next allotment of land went to the clans of the tribe of Naphtali. Its boundaries ran from Haleph, from the oak at Zananim, and extended across Adami, Nekeb, Jebneel, and as far as Lakum, ending at the Jordan River. The western boundary ran past Esnoth Tabo, then to Hakok, and touched the border of Zebulun in the south, the border of Asia on the west, and the Jordan River on the east. The fortified towns included in this territory were Ziddim, Zer, Hamath, Rakath, Kinnereth, Adama, Ramah, Azza, Kadesh, Edrei, and Hazor, Yiron, Migdal El, Orem, Beth Anath, and Beth Shemesh, 19 towns with their surrounding villages. The homeland the homeland allocated to the clans of Naphtali included these towns and their surrounding villages. The seventh allotment of the land went to the clans of the tribe of Dan. The land allocated as far as their homeland included the following towns: Zora, Eshtaol, Er Shemesh, Shalabin, Aijalon, Ithla, Elon, Timnah, Ekron, Eldeke, Gibbethon, Baalath, Jehud, Bene Barak, Geth Rimmon, Mejakon, Rakon, and the territory across Joppa. But the tribe of Dan had trouble taking possession of their land, so they attacked the town of Laish. They captured it, slaughtered its people, and settled there. They renamed the town Dan after their ancestor. The homeland allocated to the clans of the tribe of Dan included these towns and their surrounding villages. After all the land was divided among the tribes of the Israelites, After all the land was divided among the tribes, the Israelites gave a piece of land to Joshua as his allotment, for the Lord had said he could have any town he wanted. He chose Timnah, he chose Timnath Serah in the hill country of Ephraim. He rebuilt the town and lived there. These were the territories of Eleazar the priest, Joshua son of Nun, and the tribal leaders allocated as grants of land to the tribes of Israel by casting sacred lots in the presence of the Lord at the entrance of the tabernacle at Shiloh. So the division of the land was completed. Joshua 20. The Lord said to Joshua, "Now tell the Israelites to designate the cities of refuge as instructed Moses. Anyone who kills another person accidentally and unintentionally can run to one of the cities. There will be there will be places of refuge from relatives seeking revenge for the person who was killed. Upon reaching one of these cities, the one who caused the death will appear before the elders at the city gate and present his case. They must allow him to enter the city and give him a place to live among them. If the relatives of the victim come to avenge the killing, the leaders must not release the slayer to them, for he killed the other person unintentionally and without previous hostility. But the slayer must stay in that city and be tried by the local assembly, which will render a judgment, and he must continue to live in that city until the death of the high priest who was in office at the time of the accident. After that, he is free to return to his own home in the town from which he fled. The following cities were designated as cities of refuge: Kadesh of Galilee in the hill country of Naphtali, Shechem in the hill country of Ephraim, and Kiriath Arba, that is Hebron, in the hill country of Judah. On the east side of the Jordan River, across from Jericho, the following cities were designated: Bezer in the wilderness plain of the tribe of Reuben, Ramoth in Gilead, in the territory of the tribe of Gad, and Golan in Bashan, in the land of the tribe of Manasseh, these cities were set apart for all the Israelites as well as the foreigners living among them. Anyone who accidentally killed another person could take refuge in one of these cities. In this way, they could escape being killed in revenge prior to standing trial before the local assembly. Then the leaders of the tribe of Levi came to consult with Eleazar the priest, Joshua son of Nun, and the leaders of the other tribes of Israel. They came to them at Shiloh in the land of Canaan and said, "The Lord commanded Moses to give us towns to live in and pasture lands for our livestock." So by the command of the Lord, the people of Israel gave the Levites the following towns and pasture lands out of their own grants of the land. The descendants of Aaron, who were members of the Kohathite clan within the tribe of Levi, were allotted 13 towns that were originally assigned to the tribes of Judah, Simeon, and Benjamin. The other families of the Kohathite clan were allotted 10 towns from the tribes of Ephraim, Dan, and the half tribe of Manasseh. The clan of Gershon was allotted 13 towns from the tribes of Issachar, Asher, Naphtali, and the half tribe of Manasseh in Bashan. The clan of Merari was allotted 12 towns from the tribes of Reuben, Gad, and Zebulun. So the Israelites obeyed the Lord's command to Moses and assigned these towns and pasture lands to the Levites by casting sacred lots. The Israelites gave the following towns from the tribes of Judah and Simeon to the descendants of Aaron, who were members of the Kohathite clan within the tribe of Levi, since the sacred lot fell to them first. Kiriath Arba, that is Hebron, in the hill country of Judah, along with its surrounding pasture lands. Arba was an ancestor of Anak. But the open fields beyond the town and the surrounding villages were given to Caleb, son of Jephunneh, as his possession. The following towns with their pasture lands were given to the descendants of Aaron the priest: Hebron, a city of refuge for those who accidentally killed someone; Libnah, Jetah, Eshtemoa, Helon, Debir, Ain, Juttah, and Beth Shemesh. 9 towns from these 2 tribes. From the tribe of Benjamin, the priests were given the following towns with their pasture lands: Gibeon, Geba, Anathoth, and Almon. 4 towns. So in all, 13 towns with their pasture lands were given to the priests, the descendants of Aaron. The rest of the Kohathite clan from the tribe of Levi was allotted the following towns and pasture lands from the tribe of Ephraim: Shechem in the hill country of Ephraim, a city of refuge for those who accidentally killed someone; Gezer, Kibziam, Beth Horon, 4 towns. The following towns and pasture lands were allotted to the priests from the tribe of Dan: El Teke, Gebethon, Ajalon, and Geth Rimoth, 4 towns. The half tribe of Manasseh allotted the following towns with their pasture lands to the priests: Tanakh and Geth-Rimmon, 2 towns. So in all, 10 towns with their pasture lands were given to the rest of the Kohathite clan. The descendants of Gershon, another clan within the tribe of Levi, received the following towns with their pasture lands from the half tribe of Manasseh: Golan in Bashan, a city of refuge for those who accidentally killed someone; and Be-Eshrata, and Be-Eshtera, 2 towns. From the tribe of Issachar, they received the following towns with their pasture lands: Kishon, Deberath, Jarmuth, and En Ganim, 4 towns. From the tribe of Asher, they received the following towns with their pasture lands: Mishal, Abdon, Ilkath, and Rehob, 4 towns. From the tribe of Naphtali, they received the following towns with their pasture lands: Kadesh in Galilee, a city of refuge for those who accidentally kill someone; Hamath Dor and Katan, 3 towns. So in all, 13 towns with their pasture lands were allotted to the clan of Gershon. The rest of the Levites, the Merari clan, were given the following towns with their pasture lands from the tribe of Zebulun: Jekneam, Kata, Dimnah, and Nahalal, 4 towns. From the tribe of Reuben, they received the following towns with their pasture lands: Bezer, Jehaz, Kedemoth, and Mipath, 4 towns. From the tribe of Gad, they received the following towns with their pasture lands: Ramoth in Gilead, a city of refuge for those who accidentally killed someone; Mahanaim, Eshbon, and Jazer, 4 towns. So in all, 12 towns were allotted to them. No, so in all, 12 towns were allotted to the clan of Merari. The total number of towns and pasture lands within the Israelite territory given to the Levites came to 48. Every one of these towns had pasture land surrounding it. So the Lord gave them rest on every side, just as he had solemnly promised their ancestors. None of their enemies could stand against them, for the Lord helped them conquer all their enemies. Not a single one of their enemies, not a single one of their enemies, no, not a single one of all the good promises the Lord had given to the family of Israel was left unfulfilled. Everything he had spoken came true. Joshua 22. Then Joshua called together the tribes of Reuben, Gad, and the half tribe of Manasseh. He told them, "You have done as Moses, the servant of the Lord, commanded you, and you have obeyed every order I have given you. During all this time, you have not deserted the other tribes. You have been careful to obey the commands of the Lord your God right up to the present day. And now the Lord your God has given the other tribes rest, as he promised them. So go back home to the homeland that Moses, the servant of Lord, gave you as a possession on the east side of the Jordan River. But be very careful to obey all the commands and the instructions that Moses gave you. Love the Lord your God, walk in all his ways, obey his commands, hold firmly to him, and serve him with all your heart and all your soul." So Joshua blessed them and sent them away, and they went home. Moses had given the land of Bashan east of the Jordan River to the half tribe of Manasseh. The other half of tribe was given the land west of the Jordan. As Joshua sent them away and blessed them, he said to them, "Go back to your homes with the great wealth you have taken from your enemies, the vast herds of livestock, the silver, gold, bronze, iron, and the large supply of clothing. Share the plunder with your relatives." So the men of Reuben, Gad, and the half tribe of Manasseh left left the rest of Israel in Shiloh in the land of Canaan. They started to journey back to their town, to their own land of Gilead, the territory that belonged to them according to the Lord's command through Moses. But while they were still in Canaan, and when they came to the place called Geliloth, near the Jordan River, the men of Reuben, Gad, and the half tribe of Manasseh stopped to build a large and imposing altar. The rest of Israel heard that the people of Reuben, Gad, and half tribe of Manasseh had built an altar at Gilead at the edge of the land of Canaan on the west side of the Jordan River. So the whole community of Israel gathered at Shiloh and prepared to go to war against them. First, however, they sent a delegation led by Phinehas, son of Eleazar, the priest, to talk to the tribes of Reuben, Gad, and the half tribe of Manasseh. In this delegation were 10 leaders of Israel, one from each tribe, one from each of the 10 tribes, and each the head of his family within the clans of Israel. When they arrived in the land of Gilead, they said to the tribes of Reuben, Gad, and the half tribe of Manasseh, the whole community of the Lord demands to know why you are betraying the God of Israel. How could you turn away from the Lord and build an altar for yourselves in rebellion against him? Was our sin at Peor not enough? To this day, we are not fully cleansed of it, even after the plague that struck the entire community of the Lord. And yet today you are turning away from following the Lord. If you rebel against the Lord today, he will be angry with all of us. If you need the altar because the land you possess is defiled, then join us in the Lord's land, where the tabernacle of the Lord is situated, and share our land with us. But do not rebel against the Lord or against us by building an altar other than the one true altar of the Lord our God. Didn't divine anger fall on the entire community of Israel when Achan, a member of the clan of Zerah, sinned by stealing the things set apart for the Lord? He was not the only one who died because of his sin. Then the people of Reuben, Gad, and the half tribe of Manasseh answered, the heads of the clans of Israel, the Lord, the mighty one, is God. The Lord, the mighty one, is God. He knows the truth, and may Israel know it too. We have not built the altar in a treacherous rebellion against the Lord. If we have done so, do not spare our lives this day. If we have built an altar for ourselves to turn away from the Lord or to offer burnt offerings or grain offerings or peace offerings, may the Lord himself punish us. The truth is, we have built this altar because we fear that in the future your descendants will say to ours, what right do you have to worship the Lord, the God of Israel? The Lord has placed the Jordan River as a barrier between our people and you, people of Reuben and Gad. You will have no claim to the Lord, so your descendants may prevent our descendants from worshiping the Lord. So we decided to build the altar not for burnt offerings or sacrifices, but as a memorial. It will remind our descendants and your descendants that we too have the right to worship the Lord at his sanctuary with our burnt offerings, sacrifices, and peace offerings. Then your descendants will not be able to say to ours, we have no claim to the Lord. If they say this, our descendants will reply, look at this copy of the Lord's altar that our ancestors made. It is not for burnt offerings or sacrifices. It is a reminder that the relationship both of us, it is a reminder of the relationship both of us have with the Lord. Far be it from us to rebel against the Lord or turn away from him by building our own altar for burnt offerings, grain offerings, or sacrifices. Only the altar of the Lord God, our God, that stands in front of the tabernacle may be used for that purpose. When Phinehas the priest and the leaders of the community, the heads of the clans of Israel, heard this from the tribes of Reuben, Gad, and the half tribe of Manasseh, they were satisfied. Phinehas, son of Eleazar, the priest, replied to them, "Today we know the Lord is among us because you have not committed this treachery against the Lord as we thought. Instead, you have rescued Israel from being destroyed by the hand of the Lord." Then Phinehas, son of Eleazar, the priest, and the other leaders left the tribes of Reuben and Gad in Gilead and returned to the land of Canaan to tell the Israelites what had happened. And all the Israelites were satisfied and praised God and spoke no more of war against Reuben and Gad. The people of Reuben and Gad named the altar Witness, for they said, "It is a witness between us and them that the Lord is our God too." 23. The years passed, and the Lord gave the people of Israel rest from their enemies. Joshua, who was now very old, called together the elders, the leaders, judges, and officers of Israel. He said to them, "I am now very old. You have seen everything the Lord your God has done for you during my lifetime. The Lord your God has fought for you against your enemies. I have allotted to you as your homeland all the land of the nations yet unoccupied,